Hello friends, my name is Carolyn Service and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in the United States. So welcome to my YouTube video today. If you are a follower of mine, thank you for coming back to visit, and I hope to see you lots more. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and I hope today that you will enjoy this little fun fold card that I have to show you. So the way this works is it opens up this way, and then it also opens up this way. Isn't that cute? I love fun folds, they're just so fun. Fun folds are just so fun. Boy, that's a quote. Anyway, to start with this card, we're going to bring in a card base that measures 5.5 by 4.25. And I should point out before I get started, sorry, so in a hurry sometimes to get started, I forget to mention certain things that are important, like which stamp set did I use. So this card features the Spotlight on Nature and also the coordinating dies that are part of the bundle with that particular stamp set. And so the dies look like, I get the one that I'm going to use today, like this. Don't they look fun? And they've got a lot of design and texture to them, so they're a lot of fun to play with. And let's take that one back out so I don't forget which one I want to use. So now we can get started, right? Okay, so I'm going to start, just leave that, I can't really see that there, put it here. So I'll put that there so you can see what we're making. And we're going to start out with a card base that measures 5.5 by 4.25. If you are using white, I recommend the thick white for your card base. Then you're also going to cut some small pieces of designer series paper that measure 4 by 3/4 inch, and you're going to need 2 of them. Now this particular designer series paper is out of a retired pack called Earthen Elegance, and the piece that I cut it from looks like this. Okay, so I just used obviously this portion here. That probably retired, I'm thinking that was in our mini catalog from fall of last year, although don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. But again, they measure 4 by 3/4 inch, and you'll need 2 of them. And you're going to start by just adding these to the base. This will actually help you to center the next piece that we're going to put on the card. Okay, so leaving about 1/16 of an inch border around that piece, and then again on the other side. Now if you don't have that Earthen Elegance, you I'm sure can find, if you have just some other designer paper that has a sort of nondescript pattern to it. Country Woods is one that's current that would probably have something in there that you could use. Okay, and so then the next step that I want to do, I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to get my paper trimmer cutter out here, scorer, whatever you want to call it, and I have a piece of just regular basic white cardstock that measures 11 by 4.25, and I'm going to score it at 2 inches. Let's see if I can get you in on camera here. Okay, I'll try that. 2 inches, score 3 3/4. Then I'm going to pull my arm out here. I need to measure 7 1/4. And then the last score is 9 inches. Okay, so that's white cardstock, measures 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 2, 3 3/4, 7 1/4, and 9. Okay, then you're going to fold that paper so that this first piece on the left goes backwards, and you're going to want to burnish each one of these score lines. Then this one goes forward, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the first score goes backwards, second score comes forward. Okay, so from the top it's going to look like that. Okay, so a mountain fold, valley fold, valley fold, mountain fold. Okay, and then just make sure everything's good and burnished. And that'll make your card go together a lot better. Okay. Now, there are actually two different measurements for these pieces, these two pieces. Okay, so the right panel, let me pull this out, maybe I should put that here. So the right panel measures the cardstock piece. Make sure I've got the right one here. So I did pre-cut these, obviously. And the right panel measures 3 1/2, just check, yep, 3 1/2 by 4. The left panel measures 3 3/4 by 4. And I've used a petal pink cardstock. Then the coordinating designer series paper that goes with it, the right panel measures 3 1/4 by 3 3/4, and the left panel measures 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. So this designer paper is from the Country Woods collection that's current right now. This one, however, is a retired piece. It comes from designer series pack called Heart and Home, and I apologize, it is quite old, but it happened to be one that I really liked, and really liked the fact that it matched the or coordinated with the petal pink cardstock. So you could use pretty much anything you have. Just what I would do is, if you don't have these, pick out designer series paper that you like, and then match the cardstock to the designer series paper. And then you can also color your flower in the coordinating colors that you choose. So you don't have to always do exactly what I'm doing or any other demonstrator you might happen to be watching. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to glue these together. It always seems like I feel like I'm so quiet when I'm just adding glue to my cardstock. So I don't know, sometimes I'll kind of like think up idle chatter, like, what are you guys doing today? Hope you're getting a chance to make some cards. Hope it's nice weather where you are. You know, all that kind of crazy stuff. Anyway, I do hope that you're having a great day. And there we go. So those are all ready. And then we are going to add these to our base. Okay, now in order to do that, I'm actually going to open this up. So in order to do that, you are just going to be adding to this panel right here. So you're not going to want to put glue on the back, the whole back of your card. I'm sorry, your element. So what I recommend sometimes when I want to make sure I don't over glue is I put it on the white piece. So I'm going to add some glue here, just making sure I don't come all the way out to the edge. but I can come to the edge on this side. Okay, and then I'm just going to simply place that with approximately a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around here, in case that wasn't clear. Okay, and then again, you're going to do the same thing on this side. So just add your glue, and you can add it to the back of this element if you choose. Just remember to not do the whole back. Okay. All right, and then again, we're going to add this piece. I like it that way. Oh, wait, nope, wrong. This way. Yep. All right. So both of these pieces where they're not glued down are facing towards the center of your card, so that when they close, they'll close like this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so then we are going to get out the next element, which is actually watercolor paper that I pre-cut using this die cut. So it is the second largest in this collection. So there's two collections to keep in mind. Okay, the one I'm using is this one, which is the second largest on this collection. And then I just cut that out with watercolor paper. Okay, so then the next thing we want to do is I'm using Brown Stazon ink and the flower image from the Spotlight on Nature. And I'm actually going to ink it up this way so you can kind of just see. You don't need to go all the way down, but if you do, it's no big deal. I'm going to just put a piece of scrap paper under my work here so that if it goes off of the paper, it won't be on my workspace. And I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Let's give it some firm pressure. There we go. And while I've got the Brown Stazon ink out, I'm also going to take a little piece of scrap and this sentiment that says, "Dear friend." Obviously you could use whatever you choose, but that happens to be one of the two sentiments in the stamp set. The other one says thanks. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one. Cover that up, because I know if I don't, you know what'll happen. Okay, and then I'm just going to take just a quick minute to clean those off. Stazon ink does have a tendency to stain your stamps, especially if they're photopolymer. You won't see it so much on red rubber, but I've got some Stazon cleaner, and I'm just going to put it on like that, and then clean it off on my Stampin' Scrub. And this one as well. Okay, that looks good. So we do carry black and brown Stazon ink, and so if you have either of those, you would want to get what's called Stazon cleaner. It definitely cleans the stamps better when you use that cleaner that is specifically made for Stazon ink. Okay, so I'm just going to set that one aside for the moment, and then I'm going to color. So with this, I'm going to get out some Petal Pink ink. I'm going to just squeeze the top and bottom together, get a little pool of ink in the lid. Then I'm going to use an aqua painter. If you're not familiar with these come in a pack of 3. and they each have a different tip on them. If you can see them, probably not, but trust me, different tips, small, medium, and large. I'm using the medium. And to get them prepared, there's a little, yeah, you can see it right there, maybe, oh goodness, sorry, okay, right there. Can you see where it says push, right there? Okay, so what you do is you just squeeze that, where it's like push, it says push on both sides, squeeze right there, and you can see the water come down into this chamber, and then it will make your paintbrush wet. And then you just pick up some ink from the lid and you just apply it to your image. I just love to color. However that might be. It can be watercoloring, it can be blends, it can be a blending brush. I just love to color. So, and you can make this as light or dark as you prefer, or kind of even multicolored. Make the base maybe a little bit darker than the top of the flower. I'm going to do that up here as well. And then one last little flower here. And voila. Okay, done with that. And then these clean just like a blender pen. So you just kind of squeeze them. Should have brought in a paper towel. That would work much better to clean them with. Probably have to do that at the end, but I'll just clean enough so that I don't have an issue when I do the next color. Well, actually, I don't think I'll be using this again. I'm going to be actually using blender pens for the next step. And if that doesn't look exactly like you want it to look, you want some maybe to be darker in areas, you can always use your petal pink marker and just add some color that way, just to highlight. Obviously that's optional, you may not even need that. And then I'm going to bring in my Granny Apple Green. Oh, actually I should check and see if I've got ink in that lid. Oh, I do, okay. Granny Apple Green and Old Olive and a blender pen. Okay, so it's a little different than a water painter. And it actually colors differently as well. I brought it in mainly because these leaves are a little skinny, especially these two, which would be hard to kind of do, I think, with the water painter. Actually, I'll confess I didn't try it, but you know, I just think that it might be easier to use a blender pen. Okay, so I've got some Granny Apple Green on my blender pen, and I'm just lightly, I'm got a very, very, very light touch. So I don't want the Granny Apple Green to be super dark. And that's good for that one. And then just to add some contrast, wipe this off, I'm going to add some Old Olive. And I'm going to do that down at the bottom edges so that where the darker lines are. Being the concept artists know a lot more what they're doing than I do. I'm just trying to add those lines like sort of where they've added their lines. I think I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Obviously you could, ooh, I almost went out of line there. Alright, that's good. What do you think? Does it look alright to you? Hoping that I don't know, I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Is that better? I think it is. See that a little better? Alright. And then we're going to bring in our sentiment. Actually, I need to put a lid back on this. There we go. I'm bringing my sentiment, and I'm just going to fussy cut around that into 2 words. So there's another sentiment in this stamp set, and it says thanks. And like you could probably, let's try it. See if it'll fit right in there. Oh, I think it will. Let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to mount that. I'm going to bring in my Stazon ink again. And so you can see with the original, where I added the dear friend, like you can see that it's fussy cut 2 words. Okay, you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't like to fussy cut. By all means, find a different sentiment that works for you, and let's try this thanks. See if it will fit. I think it will, barely. But I think we got it. Oh yeah, it worked. Great. So you have a choice. You can, and then too, you have a choice of, you know, just using something random that you have that you need for a card to send to somebody. But for right now, we've got that done. Okay, and then I want to bring in, let's see, some dimensionals and pop this element up. So let's bring this back in, close that like so. There we are. Okay. And you don't have to use dimensionals here, but I'm one of those that loves dimensionals. I just think they add a lot of character to the card. And I'm going to pop the backs of these off. I use a lot of dimensionals. I use a lot of embellishments. I use a lot of ribbon. And I love to color. So now you know a little bit about me. Okay, so I'm going to put that, so I'm just looking at the thanks and making sure that I've got that straight. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in the base again. And then when I go to add the base, let's see how to explain this. Okay, this part of the card here on these edges is going to match the edges here. There's not going to be, you know, like the little 1/8 of an inch that you see on a lot of cards. It's going to go top to bottom. It's going to match. Now, I can look at it and see mine's a little larger than I want it to be. Yep, by a little tiny bit. See that there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my little mini guillotine cutter and fix that. Be right back. Okay, so I've got my little guillotine cutter. Gonna see how this goes. I've never tried to cut this many pieces of cardstock at the same time. Oh, I think it did it. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. All right, so I'll say this to say that when you're measuring for this project, be right on the money. I went back, like was looking and measuring it on my grid paper here, and I'm like, oh gosh, it was just the tiniest bit off, but that tiniest bit really made the difference. Okay, yep, that looks good. Okay, so now we're just going to put glue. Actually, I think I'm going to use Stamp and Seal. And then you're just going to place that down in the very center, lining up the bottom and the top and the sides. Everything needs to line up. There we go. There's the finished project. I don't know, whichever whichever one you want to use. Oh, nope, one more little thing. Okay, so these are old, but I've still got some, and they just made this little card look so cute. So these are like little bumblebee trinkets. I'm going to put one on with a glue dot. Right there. Isn't that cute? So cute. Alright, so I think that's it. And, you know, I don't know if this fun fold has a name. Should have looked that up, I guess. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that video. And check back with me this week. I'm going to have more, at least one more, if not two more. I believe two more videos that feature that Spotlight on Nature stamp set and bundle, I should say. So check back, and hope to see you soon. Take a little time to do some stamping today. It's good for the soul. Bye for now.